The keys that I'm going to share with you in this video come from books that have sold a combined total of more than 150 million copies. These books were written by multi-millionaires, and some of the authors were academic PhDs that spent years researching how actual millionaires built their wealth. And some of these authors had wealth, they lost everything and built wealth again. And one of these books dates back to the 1920s. Now, in just a few minutes, you're going to be able to get wealth building advice from some of the most trusted sources in the world. Over the last few months, I've studied The Millionaire Next Door, The Richest Man in Babylon, The Total Money Makeover, Think and Grow Rich, and Rich Dad Poor Dad. These are the 5 highest selling personal finance books ever. And I'm going to give you the 5 keys to building wealth. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Craig Bailey. I'm a licensed financial advisor. I've created Financial Seeds to give you a Bible-based approach to financial freedom. And before I get started, if you find any value in this video, please just take a second and tap the like button. So together, we can help this video reach more people and hopefully be a blessing to someone else. Honestly, I was surprised to discover that virtually all the common wealth building secrets from the 5 best-selling personal finance books of all time can also be found in the Bible. There are millions of people struggling financially. There are people that have lost a daughter or a son because they couldn't afford proper health care. And there are people that have been forced to move from place to place with young children because they couldn't afford to keep up with rent. The Lord didn't put us here to live in poverty until one day we die and finally live a life of abundance in heaven. He wants you to prosper now. There are people that have built fortunes that have lasted generations, and they've spent years writing books to tell us exactly how we can do it too. But unfortunately, so many individuals struggling don't take the time to search. Today, you will be blessed because you're searching for answers. Today, you will be blessed because you're knocking at the right doors. The Bible tells us in James 1:5, if you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and He will give it to you. So today, it is my prayer that this information not only changes your life, but that it changes your family tree for generations to come. So here we go. And the first key is that without faith, you will never achieve the financial success you desire. Faith is simply believing in something so much that you start taking action as if it's already done, no matter what your current circumstances are telling you. In the book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill writes, there's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. No one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief, not mere hope or wish. Regardless of what your financial situation looks like today, just know it's possible for you to live the life of your dreams. It's possible for you to take your family on that dream vacation, and it's possible for you to pay cash to help a widowed mom buy a car for her and her children. The only thing that can hold you back is your faith. And I'm encouraging you today to have the faith to go after everything that God has in store for you. Key number 2, calculate your total monthly income and then set a goal to make sure that your monthly expenses are no more than 80% of your income. Now, this is a common theme in each of these books. You have to live below your means. In the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, author George Clayson coined the phrase, pay yourself first. The book stresses that saving a portion of your income before spending on any expenses should be a lifelong habit. In The Millionaire Next Door, Thomas Stanley makes the point that the most important single financial strategy for building wealth is to live below your means. If you find it hard to cut your expenses to 80%, remember there is a limit to how much you can cut, but there is no limit to how much you can make. Hill says in the book Think and Grow Rich, the man who wants to be rich should pay more attention to his income than to his expenses. The man who wants to be poor should pay more attention to his expenses than to his income. And this leads to key number 3. You have complete control over how much you make. Don't give that power to anyone else. Remember, You have gifts and talents that the world needs. And as you use these gifts to serve others, money will come in abundance. In the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, the character archetype says, the more valuable you make yourself, the more you will be paid. Invest in your skills and knowledge, and you will reap the rewards in the form of increased income. In the book, Think and Grow Rich, it says the only way to increase your income is to increase your value to others. Also, there are too many people who rely on only a job for income. If your goal is to make more money, that is the exact opposite of your employer's goal. For the company, you are an expense. This is why during downturns, mass layoffs happen. The company's priority is to make more money for the company, not for your household. So you have to make sure that you are using your money from the job to create other income streams. Diversified income reduces reliance on a single source of income, providing greater financial security and the ability to weather economic downturns. Kiyosaki explains in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, don't depend on only one income stream. Make money in as many ways as possible. And lastly, while it's important you make a goal to earn the income you think you deserve, you should also know it doesn't take a high income to build wealth. One of the primary points in the book, The Millionaire Next Door, is that many people mistakenly believe that you have to be a high income earner to become a millionaire. That's simply not true. The average millionaire has an income that is slightly above the median income for his or her age group. Even in the book Think and Grow Rich, it says a person's wealth is not determined by the income he earns, but by the amount of money he saves and invests over time. And I've seen this to be true several times, like Ann Schreiber. She worked as an IRS auditor and she made no more than $4,000 a year. Yes, $4,000 a year. And she retired from the IRS in 1944. In over 50 years of investing, she was able to turn her little $5,000 in savings to over $20 million. The next key is to avoid debt. Here's a quote from The Richest Man in Babylon. The wages of a man are his own to keep, but if he squanders them, he becomes a slave to debt. And here's a quote from Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. Debt is slavery. It's the chains that bind you to a life of financial insecurity and fear. And Robert Kiyosaki makes the point in Rich Dad, Poor Dad that there is good debt and bad debt. And basically, good debt allows you to buy an asset that pays off that debt, while bad debt, on the other hand, is incurred to finance personal expenses or consumption that does not yield a return, like credit card debt or car loans that depreciate over time. And Kiyosaki warns that bad debt makes you poorer and puts you in the rat race where you work harder and harder just to pay off debt. Key number 4 is that investing must be a priority. Here's a statement about investing from the book Richest Man in Babylon. A wise man invests his money carefully so that it will multiply and bring him an income. He does not gamble with his money, for he knows that gambling is a foolish way to lose wealth. In the book, The Millionaire Next Door, it says the most important investment decision you'll ever make is to begin investing as early as possible. And this point is echoed in the Total Money Makeover. In this book, Dave Ramsey says the best way to invest is to invest early and often. Here's a quote on investing from the book Think and Grow Rich that I thought was great. The person who works for money will have money, but the person who makes money work for them will have wealth. And this last key may seem a little counterintuitive, but all these books make this point. Key number 5, giving is essential to real wealth. While a lot of people criticize the wealthy by saying they only give to charity for tax breaks, I like to challenge that idea by saying I think rich people give to charity because they realize that simply having money doesn't give them true joy. True joy comes from using that money to uplift others. Here's how Robert Kiyosaki puts it in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The people who are richest in the world are also the most generous. They give without expecting anything in return. They know that the more they give, the more they will receive. And in The Millionaire Next Door, it says, the greatest joy of having wealth is not the possession of money, but the ability to give it away. And in Think and Grow Rich, it says, the law of prosperity is giving. If you want more, give more. Nowhere in the Bible will you find a verse that says God's will is for you to struggle here on earth. The Bible tells us that the Lord is good, unchanging, merciful, gracious. God's will is for you to prosper and experience overflow. I'm encouraging you today to stop believing what your circumstances are telling you and to start believing what God is telling you. You can prosper as your soul prospers. You can be the head and not the tail. You can be the lender and not the borrower. Let this message be the inspiration you needed to make sure money no longer has control over your life. If you want more inspirational videos on a Bible-based approach to financial freedom, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you for taking the time to check out this video, and may God bless you on your financial journey.